Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, our final guest this morning, Brian Lee from Freshly Chopped, has developed a new pizza concept which he intends to franchise next year, and he joins us now to discuss this new venture. Brian, we'll be discussing your latest venture, Neat Pizza. But first, while everyone will know you from the success of the Freshly Chopped franchise, remind us about how you first became involved in the world of entrepreneurship.
Good morning. Well, entrepreneurship is something that was in my DNA from a young age. From going around as a 12-year-old with a lawnmower to selling out to the local Blackrock market stalls to doing door-to-door on the Christmas. It was always in my blood, not knowing it was entrepreneurship at the time, of course. I was just a young lad looking to make a buck, and it was more the buzz and the feeling that you get of buying and selling something or creating a service and getting a payment for it.
Now, of course, earlier this year, I heard a great story where you referenced your business now being featured on the Leaving Cert curriculum. This must have been a phenomenal feeling for you, especially when you were told in school that you'd never amount to much.
I knew that line would come back to me. Yeah, so that was a comment passed to the teacher when I was maybe misbehaving, and it says, if you keep that up, you'll never amount to much, young lad, which always kind of resonated and stuck with me and said, I'll show you kind of mentality. And I thank them for that comment now, because it's always one that motivates you and keep you going when someone tells you you can't do anything. And instead of giving up, I decided to prove people wrong. And it's been featured on the Leaving Cert, our business and myself, many times now over the last number of years, which is a very proud moment for myself, where I didn't go on to do third level education, and it shows that school life and third level college is not for everyone, and there's more routes to after school life. You don't need to go on to do college to succeed in your dreams. And there's a lot of entrepreneurship within our young students that is probably being killed off in the school curriculum, and it's not being nurtured and mentored to blossom, if you must say. Like, I feel that mine was neglected. I was doing a lot of things within the school that was entrepreneurship, and I was punished for it. I wasn't encouraged to go into business studies. Instead, I was going into home economics. These kind of things, which is ludicrous when I look at it as a young lad. If I'm there with 4 or 5 lockers full of stuff buying and selling, surely there should have been one teacher within that school identify that young chap does not fit into this box. He needs to be guided and nurtured into certain aspects. I always say, why don't we teach entrepreneurship in school? Why don't we show people that you don't need to go on and to third level education just to get a job and work on? We're in school life. We create great employees. We don't create great business leaders, and we don't create great entrepreneurs. They have to fight against the system to blossom, I believe.
What are the couple of things that you'd like to see government do to overcome that?
If we could start with simple processes, okay, there's an overview of the whole education system is one, but it could introduce a topic and a subject within school of entrepreneurship. Like, I know so many people who left school and to study college, and they got into massive credit card debts and being blacklisted just for going over €500 on the limits for 3 years, not being able to get loans, all these silly little things. Why are we not teaching about credit cards, mortgages, finance and loans, all these different things? Now, I'm sure we're touching on them in business studies, but there should be a subject, in my view, in secondary level school of an entrepreneurship. It's fantastic that we see now colleges doing courses on it, but I believe it's time for it to come on the curriculum at second level schools. I would have jumped at it if it had been on my topic line. We would encourage a lot more business leaders that are within the ranks or within the school hours, that they don't realise that they have the ability to lead big companies, to create big companies and be leaders. I meet so many people that come to me in their late 20s saying they've dropped out of college, and they say they're looking for a mentor to show them how to go and do these things. And they've gone off and they set up a little business. They want to know how to scale them. And I would love to have the time to do all that. But I believe there's basics a responsibility of the education system that we can provide these people. And at 27, he wouldn't have spent 4 or 5 years going down the path that didn't fit for him or her.
Now, Freshly Chopped has become a phenomenal success for you personally, but since you launched the first Freshly Chopped store in Bagot Street back in 2012, how big has the brand become at this stage?
We got to 62 openings initially. Obviously, COVID has had a little bit of effect on us there, and so we are in Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, and Cyprus. And we're working on some other international stuff I hope to announce very soon. We've got new stores opening. Navan is the latest store we've just announced this week to open up in the Navan Town Centre. And in Kilkenny is also. So it's great to see people are willing to invest in franchises again.
And as a young entrepreneur that was involved in developing the Chop brand over the past 9 years, what was the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome?
Oh, it's a tough question. I wouldn't. It's very people management is the biggest obstacle, and it's definitely at this climate and time. But it's managing people and managing people's expectations, and trying to, for me, encourage an entrepreneurship within our company that everybody who's an employee feels that their job, their position is basically their own mini business, and to try and instill a culture where we have a purpose. And this is where we are on the journey with Need Pizza as well, creating a pizza with a purpose. So it's trying to create a feeling. It's more about people management and expectations of the people, and trying to create enough ambition and a career path for people. I always say that if you come work for us, we offer you a career, not a job. And that's something that I would strive on trying to achieve as much as possible for everybody.
And of course, Brian, on the topic of people, recruiting and retaining staff is the biggest challenge facing businesses right across the country. Are you feeling the pinch likewise? And what do you think the solutions to this problem are?
It's a massive problem right now across hospitality sector, and I'm sure other sectors that I'm talking to. We have a store in Dundrum ready to open, and I'm just looking for 10 full-timers to get that store open, and I cannot get 10 full-timers. If they're out there today, please apply. We've offered salaries above beyond asking price, but we cannot. We're getting school part-timers applying, that's it. We can't open a store on that. What do I believe is the problem? It's hard to say. The PUP payment doesn't help encouraging people to come back at this level. Also, there's been a massive amount of people who have gone back home, foreign workers, to be with their families through the COVID crisis, and the government has not done enough in messaging back out there to bring this foreign workforce back. I would hope they'd open up the release. I'm hearing that they're releasing on the visa restrictions and stuff like that. We need more foreign workers back in the country, because there's not enough people here at the moment willing to work, not just because of the PUP, but there's just not enough of them. And we are struggling to get enough staff, and we're not the only one. And there's something that needs to be done at government level to make a change across all industries. And if we want, our sector can grow. We have stores looking to open left, right and centre. But if we can't get the staff, we can't open those stores. We can't grow our business if we can't get the right people. So something needs to be done from the powers above.
Now, I'd like to talk to you next about your latest venture, Need Pizza. What prompted you to develop a new pizza concept, considering there's some major players in that space already?
Well, the pandemic was straight off the bat. I purchased the remaining shares of the business from my business partner, and I knew I had to innovate. During the pandemic, I had some large stores. First of all, and I said, okay, these stores are closed in the evening. During the pandemic, we weren't delivering chopped food. Pizza was delivering. And I said, right, okay, we have this spare space, spare capacity. Let's sweat the assets. We pay rent 24 hours. Let's utilise the 24 hours within the building for these sites. So it was more about, let's create something. So we got the creative heads on. We said, let's create a brand. Let's create a product that's different to every other product out there. Let's create now a brand with a purpose. So we created our line as Pizza with a Purpose. So it's about giving back. We tied up with Feed the Homeless. So people can now donate meals to the homeless through us, and we put them into the food bank to be drawn down every week and given out to the people who are living rough on the streets. And we double every donation. We've also gone one step further to create a pizza academy. where we train our own pizza chefs. But our goal is next year and every year to take a minimum of 25 former homeless people back into our academy, the €5,000 course for free, and we've trained them up for qualified chefs, giving them a certificate, giving them confidence, giving them a reason to get back into the workplace, and it's ultimately a purpose they feel value. And if we can offer them jobs, we'll offer them jobs, and if not, we will try and help place them elsewhere. So it's trying to create a culture within the new brand, and our employees then feel that I'm not just working for an employer or a company that has no purpose. We're trying to give a reason why. We're giving back, but trying to create this nice feeling, community feeling, where also our customer, if it isn't down to quality or if it isn't down to price, why would you go and shop with that brand? Because they're doing something different. They're not just putting it all in their pockets, and they're creating this initiative. So me as a business leader, I encourage other businesses to do this. I don't want this to be a unique thing for us. Every business should be doing something like this, or something as a give back feel. And I'm happy to help anyone that wants to know how to start it. Any other business leader, business owner, because there's enough of us out there that if we all did a bit, we can make a big difference.
And Brian, on the ground, is this new brand and its purpose resonating with the general public?
Yes, it is, because we have a lot of donations, a lot of people coming in and thanking us for it. We don't throw it in the face of the people. Maybe we need to let people know a little bit more about it, but it's built within the employees and the DNA and in the charity. We've got a lot of companies that ring in, like Keelings. They rang in and they donated 100 meals like this, and they say they want to give back. And they're not looking for the advertisement, the credit, and that's not what it's for. It's more about, okay, we know we should all be doing more. Just give me the platform, give me the resources, and I'll do it. So it's kind of nearly taking the horse to the water. And
are you looking to grow Neat Pizza through a franchising model also?
Yes, we are. So at the moment we've the 2 stores set up at the moment, and we have a couple of stores lined up for the new year. So we will grow this into a franchise model, but we wanted to get the operations, the SOPs all locked down. It took us 3 years to start franchising the chopped business, and we have not rushed into anything with Neat Pizza, and we'll take our time, and next year open a couple of stores through the franchise model. Our future plan is to create a group of brands and keep your eyes peeled for future things coming.
Now, franchising, of course, is an extremely underutilised business model here in Ireland, and it doesn't get the recognition which it deserves. But what is needed, in your opinion, to create and sustain a successful franchise model?
We always say to create a franchise model, we would want to open a minimum of 3 sites, and you would want possibly 3 different kind of demographic sites to prove the model is successful. We then say you have to be operating for a period of length of time, also to you can analysis a full year sales, if not 2 year sales. So it's usually 2 to 3 years businesses are minimum of going before you would go franchising. It's building your standard operations and building a solid team out there to support your franchise network going forward. A lot of people have come to me and said, I want to go franchising and expect just to write a license agreement and hand it over with no support, no documentation, no on what ways the brand should be occupied or treated, what they can do, what they can't do. You need to buy into your beliefs, your culture. It's a Bible that you're passing over, and it's also ultimately your baby that you've built up and you're now handing out to grow and walk on its own 2 feet. So there is a lot of risks with franchising, and it's one that you have to tread carefully and make sure you find the right partners. It's not about selling franchises. I say it's about awarding franchises. And the last 10 years of franchising has taught me is choosing the right people is worth the wait.
And that leads me nicely on to my next question is, from your experience into franchising, what are the characteristics of an ideal franchisee?
Well, there's a couple of different types of franchisees out there. There's owner-operators, and they will take more care and love of the site than any investor can offer you. It doesn't matter what they say. Owner-operators always going to love the brand and care for it a lot more. So they would kind of be your ideal for standards, keeping standards right. Investors, if you want to expand rapidly and fast, will offer you multiple sites and fast. but with that comes a bit of a cost on quality, and you have to measure and keep tight controls within your systems and auditing and processes. This usually comes to a conversation looking into the whites of their eyes and believing they are a person that believes in your brand as much as you believe in it, and they're going to fully support it.
And Brian, in terms of the support network which you provide, what area of the business do franchisees generally need the most support with, and how do you bridge their skill gaps?
We offer an extensive training regime, so we would train the people for 4 to 6 weeks for managerial roles, and then 2 weeks for an operational role of a deli assistant and stuff like that. So we offer a full-on training, and then we handhold them for 2 weeks on site. So we're never concerned that they're not ready when they open, because we offer an extensive training, where a lot of franchisees wouldn't offer this kind of extensive training and support for the initial setup and opening stage. And that, I think, is critical, because you want to be able, the owner, the manager, as soon as they have staff that leave 2 months after they open, they're not left stuck. They know how to retrain new staff members back in and back in.
And Brian, finally this morning, if there's anyone listening to the programme that's interested in starting a business, what advice have you got for them?
Well, to me, you got to make a decision. Like people make a decision. Okay, I'm going to leave my job to set up this my dream business that I always wanted to do. One, how can you take that financial risk? And there's never a right time to do it, but you have to make the decision, and you've got to make that jump at some stage. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to give the next 12 to 24 months to do it. And if it doesn't work, what are my options? A lot of people give up on the first kickback, but you got to push back through the rejection, and people are saying, no, you're mad, you're crazy. If you believe in it, you've done your research within the sector you want to do, and you 100% believe your research stacks up, your idea stacks up, and it's a business model, you kind of got to put the blinkers on a little bit and not listen to the noise of negativity around you, because not everyone is a risk taker, and you just got to put that foot out there and take the risk. Otherwise, you will never know, does it ever work? But you also have to be in the financial position to take that risk. So some people have kids and mortgages over their head. You can't put all that on the line. We have to have a common sense on approach. The best time to take the risk is before you have all these burdens around you. But it doesn't mean you can't take the risk. You just might have to take it in stages. You might need to cut down to a 3-day a week instead of having a 5-day a week. So suddenly I still have enough income to support my family or whatever, pay my bills. But I can now step into the entrepreneurship role and create this business. So it might take you a little bit longer to get going, but at least you've started, because that's the biggest challenge, is having the guts to just go for it and start.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Brian Lee from Freshly Chopped, and we wish him every success with his new venture, Need Pizza.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
South